Shall we stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our secretary is absent today, excused, so I'd like to ask our vice president to act as the acting secretary for tonight's meeting.
Well, I'm going to try. Speak slower. I'm not a very good secretary because I always get involved in the meeting, but I'll call the roll first, and we'll see how that goes. Trustee Chiricuri. Present. Trustee Crawford is here. Trustee Dooley.
Here.
Gawalapu.
Here.
Guru Murthy.
Yes, here.
And President Stirring.
Present.
Okay.
And student representative.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Agenda's in pages 1 through 4 of our book.
Move to approve.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Any
We do have an addition to the agenda if we can add it. It's
Sure.
for matters for board action. I've brought to you a new version of the library closings for 2024 with a small change for August. Friday, August 16th is not going to be the date of the staff in service. It's going to be August 9th, and we'll have to bring that to matters for board action tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to add this item to the agenda, which would be item B under matters for library board action.
Okay, I'll approve that amendment. Is there a second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to add to the agenda the revised list of library closures for 2024 as item B in the matters for library board action. Any other discussion for the motion as amended? If not, I'll ask our acting secretary to call the roll.
Okay. Crawford, I'll vote yes. Dooley.
Yes.
Gawalapu.
Yes.
Guru Murthy.
Yes.
Stirring.
Yes.
Chiricuri.
Yes.
Okay. Motion approved.
Consent agenda, which it consists of approval of the minutes of July 27, 2023, and the approval of the claims and warrants and accounts 271 and 272.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second.
It's been a motion to approve, and it's been seconded. Any discussion on the consent agenda? If not, I'll ask the acting secretary to call the vote.
Okay, Member Dooley.
Yes.
Member Gawalapu.
Yes.
Guru Murthy.
Yes.
Stirring.
Yes.
Chiricuri.
Yes.
Crawford. Yes. Motion approved.
Consent agenda has been approved. I understand we're very fortunate tonight, and we have a lot of wonderful presentations.
We do.
First of all, I'll ask the student representative to give the annual review.
So Abai Karkala is going to join our podium, and he's going to give you a presentation for the end of year for student representatives. Thank you for joining us.
Do you know where I can go into a presentation mode?
Yes, give that slideshow. Yep. You might have to enable, and then from beginning to the left. There you go.
All right, thank you. All right, so my name is Abai Kakarla. I'm the student representative, and I'll be giving our 2022-2023 end of the year presentation. I'll just start off by going through the past 12 months and just highlighting some of our most unique and popular team programs. And I'll start off with July. The two programs that we'd like to highlight are the Korean Lantern Craft and the parkour training with Phoenix Free Running Academy. Both these programs were something that we haven't done before and that were really popular participant-wise. Moving on to August, like most of the years, our summer reading finale party was really popular, and this took place at Paradise Park, and over 420 guests were participating. And then the monthly programs for the summer 2022 time frame that was really popular was the Tail Wagging Reading Buddies, which is a program where we get a therapy dog, which students can practice their reading skills to, and just having like a safe environment to learn how to read. Now we'll move on to September. Making Crafts for Hispanic Heritage Month and Dramunity Rhythmic Fun for Everyone were the two programs that we'd like to highlight for September. And then for October, Spooky Sweets Halloween Cupcake Decorating, as well as Spooky Halloween Magic with Baffling Bill, which was held at Lakeshore Park. And then once again for monthly programs, Tail Wagging Reading Buddies was really popular. And then along with the school year in September, our TAB meetings resumed. So we'll be having those from September through May. Moving on to like later fall, early winter. In November, Korean lantern making was really popular. And then in December, STEM edible gingerbread house engineering was really popular. Once again, Tail Wagging Reading Buddies, and then continued with our TAB meetings. Moving on to winter 2023. January was when we held our Robotics Day demonstration, and this was one of the most popular programs of the year. It was an opportunity for like the local robotics teams to come in and demonstrate their robot, and just it's kind of like an outreach program where they can showcase their stuff before their actual competition. And then in March we had Dungeons and Dragons for beginners. And then for monthly programs, along with Teen Advisory Board, we had a new program startup, which was Novi Chess Club. And then we'll see later how we kind of like made that program bigger and expanded a little bit. So in April, we had a couple of things, SAT practice test, which was really popular. One thing that we could have done better for that one is we had it right after the school SAT was taking place. So if we had it moved into like March time frame, maybe that would have been a little bit more helpful, but it was still really, really helpful, and a lot of kids joined because there's SAT going on almost every month. And also Basic Budgeting and Banking 101. In May, Dungeons and Dragons for Beginners was held again, and it was really popular. And in June, we had a variety of programs: Smoothie Summer Fun, Morning Kids Crafts, Retro Crafts for Tweens, and also Tweenie Workshop for Tweens. Monthly programs, once again, the Teen Advisory Board meeting, which concluded in May. And then, like I was saying, the Novi Chess Club expanded into, they had 2 programs per month. One is just for all experience levels, and one specifically for experienced players, so that even they could try to improve their game a little bit more. So I'll now focus on our Teen Advisory TAB meetings. They were held monthly, like I said, throughout the school year. And December 2022 was the most popular one of these meetings. We had 40 teams who worked together to build gingerbread houses using graham crackers, frosting, candies, and more. And then the officer elections for this year were held in May. And then the TAB meetings will resume again with this school year next month. The community service project for this year was a clothing drive in partnership with our public library, and also a local Girl Scout troop. And this was held in May 2023 with the donations going to Career Dress in Pontiac. So grab and go kits were something that we'd also like to highlight because these are really popular. We have a couple each month. Sometimes we miss certain months, but we offer them often. Registrations are offered at 3 different time slots: 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. And then there's a list of our most popular and kind of highlighted grab-and-go kits. And Teen Space was really successful this year. Over the course of the whole year, we had 4,080 guests who visited Teen Space. And then you can see like a breakdown per month, how many guests visited. Now I'll move on to My Library Quest. My Library Quest is a virtual quest that's for tweens and teens, that's put together with a collaboration of libraries across the state. And this year we had 2 of these quests, one in summer 2022, which lasted from June 15th to July 31st, and one in winter 2023, which was from February 1st to February 28th. So I'll just quickly go through our teen stop displays for the last year. This was our July one, which was summer themed books. We couldn't find the picture for our August one, but they were said about the books were set in or about school so that they can get ready for school back in September. And then September we had banned books. In October we had National Hispanic Heritage Month books. November historical fiction, and in December the best young adult fiction books of the year. In winter 2023 we had winter themed books, or in January 2023, and then in February we had romance books. In March we had basketball for March Madness. In April we had books that were turned into movies or TV shows. May we had AAPI Heritage Month books, as well as Jewish American Heritage Month books. And in June, we had Pride Month books. So that concludes our end of the year report. If you guys have any questions, I can try my best to answer. Otherwise, thank you so much.
Any questions for Abai? I just want to first take a moment to thank you. You did a wonderful presentation. I know it's always hard to stand up in front of people, and this is one of the opportunities where we give our students, an opportunity to learn and use their public speaking skills. You did a great job. I also want to share that Abai is going into his senior year. I had to double check. I was telling him a junior. He probably didn't want to hear that. So I was bringing him back a year only because I hope you could stay with us. But this will be his last year. Actually, I think through December, if I'm not, or the fall, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's through the full year. Right, which we'd love to have you, so we'll keep in touch because you've done a fantastic job with us, and we've appreciated your leadership over the last couple of years. Thank you so much for doing this report for the library board.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you as well. Not having any children who are students, your monthly reports as well as your annual report have been extremely informative for me because I don't really keep in touch with that as well, not having any children who are students. So it's been very helpful for me, and I'm sure the other board members as well. Thank you. You did a great job.
Excellent job, Abai.
Oh, yes.
I really appreciate. I know this kid from first grade.
Yes.
So now I see him like this. I'm really proud of you.
Yes. And he knows that he can meet up with me. We usually give really good references for school, so we'll make sure that we write up a good one for you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abai. Abai, do you want to just stand for a couple more minutes? Do you want to do your student report so that, okay. Does the board mind if he
That would
does
be
the
fine.
student
That would
report?
be fine.
Great. Okay. We'll move to that very
We'll
quickly.
move ahead a little bit to the student reports.
Yep. I know it's on page 28, so you go right ahead.
I can give our report for July. I'll start off with our teen and tween library programs. And starting off, the Tamil Summer Readathon program was held on July 15th, 22nd, and the 29th. And this 7-week workshop designed for grades K through 12 was hosted in Numan Tamil Academy and is designed to help children read Tamil fluently, and with interactive lessons and fun-filled activities provided by experienced teachers. The children learn to read and read fluently and comprehend Tamil language materials, and there were 30 people who attended. Like I was talking about earlier, Novi Chess Club and Novi Chess Club for experienced players was held on July 20th. This club was an opportunity for students to participate, learn, and sharpen their chess skills. No previous knowledge was necessary for the normal one, and then for the experienced one, obviously was for experienced players. And this program includes lectures, practice games, game analysis, and other components of chess training. Chess boards, timers, and rule books were provided and sponsored by a generous library donor, and there were 18 students in attendance. There was no teen space held in July because it's corresponding with the school year, so they will start up again in September. And then there was no tab meeting as well because those are also corresponding with the school year. Some of the upcoming programs for September is the Novi Chess Club, which will be on September 14th. The first Teen Advisory Board meeting will be on September, or did I say 15th for the previous one? The Chess Club is on 14th, and then the tab meeting is on the 15th. And then there's another Chess Club meeting that will be held on September 21st, and then the Candy Corn Catapult will be held on September 26th, and then Tail Wagging Reading Buddies on September 27th. July's Teen Stop display featured books for Disability Pride Month, and that's my end of the July report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I gotta ask, why is the Novi hyphenated in the chess club? Is there something?
Number 6.
Number 6.
We like to keep to things that the city has used too, and I know Priya and her wonderful team, which I'd like to give a shout out to Priya, because Priya and her son were the ones who brought this idea to the community and to bring it back into the library. And I know you have a partner with Michael Zerkich as well, who's a Novi Rotarian. They have been the leads, these 3 wonderful individuals, for the chess club for beginners and for experience, and it's gone really well. People have enjoyed it, so thank you so much for that.
Thank
I
you
appreciate it.
Thank you to the library for the support.
Yes.
And every time we go, it's like so many new kids. They just stop by the library. I'm like, what's going on? And then, and then they check out the books because we display the library books and then make sure, so thank you for the support.
And we did have a wonderful donation, and the person has asked to stay anonymous, but it was $1,000 that was gifted to actually, it was for youth programming, and when I had an opportunity to speak about some of the things that were available that we would want some assistance on, they were very excited to hear it going towards the chess club. So we made that all happen with some wonderful funds. Yes.
Thanks. Yeah.
I will say it's intimidating. An experienced player starts at ages 5 plus.
You should be intimidated.
They do.
I'm telling you, those kids are amazing.
They are so good.
Amazing, yes. Thank you so much, Abai, and you enjoy the rest of your couple weeks before you head to school.
You have a comment?
I don't have a question
Jeff.
for him, but I just want to mention, since you were concerned about what NO-VI was.
It's a railway station, right?
Number 6,
It's a
yeah.
railway station.
So I feel like I should say something, since we have the president of the Novi Historical Commission here, and people are always asking us how Novi got its name, and NOVI seems to be a misunderstanding about whether we were the 6th stop on the railroad, and it wasn't. It's kind of a nice romantic story, but it's not true. It's not true. We were never the 6th stop. We were Novi before, or we actually were not the 6th stop from Detroit to Grand Rapids on the toll road. So we have that. We've researched that. We know that's not true. So if ever you would like to know how Novi really did get its name, you'll have to come to a meeting and ask us.
That's I think that's a good plug.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's a program.
Ancient aliens use it.
Right.
Yeah, right. Anyway.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Abai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
For the next 3 presentations, I'm going to turn it over to Julie to let Julie make the introductions.
Thank you. Our next presentation is by Amy Crockett, and I believe I put by Crockett. I forgot her first name. Amy. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I read and reread this before this goes out. Amy is our meeting room coordinator through our administration office. I'm so excited to introduce you to her. She has really, over the last, coming on two years now. Yeah, in the fall. 2 years has made some astounding and amazing changes and has really revamped and brought back meeting rooms to a whole new level. And so when I saw the numbers, which I know she's always excited about, both her and Dana, I wanted her to come this evening and share a little bit about what's been happening over the last year. So Amy, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. Like Julie said, my name is Amy Crockett. I'm the meeting room coordinator. So I'm just here to talk to you a little bit about the meeting room rentals that we've had over the past fiscal year of 2022 to 2023. So these are just some overall stats that we saw in the last year with room rentals, attendees, and our gross revenue. All of these are almost double what we saw in 2021, 2022, and that's when we were still opening things back up from COVID. So I think these numbers really show that we're getting back on track with our meeting room rentals. After each rental, I do send a feedback survey to the representative who rented the room. And so I'm going to go through some of the responses that we've got over the past year from those meeting room surveys. The first thing I do is ask them to rank a series of categories based on excellent, good, fair and poor. So these responses here, these numbers here, are the percentage of people who answered excellent or good, which shows that we're on the right track for each of these categories. And as you can see, the numbers are really high for information being provided to them ahead of time, the ease of the process, and then also the pricing for the rooms. The next slide just continues with that. Some more categories that we ask about: communication with staff, accuracy of the room setup, the comfort and convenience of the rooms, and then also the equipment and technology that we offer. So again, this is people who answered excellent or good, and they're all in the high 90th percentile. So that's really exciting for us, just to know that we're on the right track with what we're offering and how we're supporting our renters. The next question we ask is, would you rent a room at the Novi Public Library again? 95% of people say yes. 5% said maybe, and not a single person said no. So again, that makes us kind of see that we're doing well to meet the needs and expectations of our community. The next question is, how did you hear about our meeting rooms? And this just helps us to know, how people are finding out that we are renting meeting rooms, where our promotions are getting traction, and where maybe we could spend a little bit more effort. And so the couple I want to point out here are 41% of people said that they had rented there previously. And that just shows, I think, that we're getting a lot of repeat customers, which means people are having a good experience and wanting to come back. And I should mention that people could choose multiple of these answers. That's why the numbers don't add up to 100. And then the last one, word of mouth, I thought was really exciting, is that 26% of people said that they heard about our meeting rooms from somebody else, a friend, family member, neighbor, someone not even affiliated with the library necessarily, but people are out there kind of spreading the word about these rooms. Another question we ask is suggestions for improving our meeting rooms and the process. We're always looking for ways to improve, make it easier for people, and we really do take these suggestions to heart and try to implement solutions. So in the past fiscal year, one of the biggest things people were asking for is a way to pay for the rooms online, so they don't have to call us or come into the office when we're open, but they could do it 24 hours a day whenever it's convenient for them. So we looked into it and found that there was actually a way on Square that we could send invoices to people, and then they can pay that online at their convenience. And we actually started implementing that August 1st, and people are loving it. It's been very successful already. And another suggestion that we got a lot last year was people want more flexibility in the timing, to have some time before or after their rental, because previously you could only rent a room for 1 hour increments. So as of July 1st, we changed that, so you can now rent by half-hour increments, so you can build in a little bit of extra time before or after your meeting if you need some extra time. So one thing that we don't ask on the survey, but we get a lot of, is positive feedback, which we love to see. Just helps us feel like we're doing a good job. So this is just a sampling of some of the comments that we received on surveys over the past fiscal year. And the one I'm going to highlight is the last one, which says, everyone was very nice and helpful throughout the process, and we felt valued as a group. Thank you. And that just kind of warmed my heart to know that, we have a lot of renters, and to know that, we are valuing each one individually, taking the time to work with them, get everything set up, and make them feel welcome and make them feel like they want to come back. So that's the end of the survey responses, but here are some other meeting room notes from over the past year. We did update our sound system in the whole meeting room last winter, which is just very helpful to renters to know that their microphones and their videos and everything are going to play correctly and just, be how it should be. We also took a lot of new photos and created new diagrams for all the different setup options that people can choose for their meeting room rental. And that's just helpful for me to be able to send them, and they can kind of visualize what the room's going to be set up like when they get there, and they have a lot of choices for what they can choose. We also increased our promotion for the meeting rooms. We updated our website page with all those new photos, and just kind of cleaned it up, made it more organized and user-friendly, as well as doing some more social media promotion for our meeting rooms as well. As of July 1st, we introduced a new pricing structure for our rooms. Those prices had not been changed in 10 years. So we figured it was time to kind of look at what other libraries were charging, what City of Novi was charging for their rooms, and kind of adjust ours based on what we were seeing in other places. We've also been working for the past few months on a new meeting room policy revision, so that should be coming to you all very soon, hopefully. And I think that's all I have, unless there are any questions. But again, thank you so much for having me.
Great. Any questions for Amy this evening? Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just curious, how close to like full capacity or maximum occupancy do you think you guys are?
I mean, a lot of times I even have to turn people away just because of library programming or other rentals already going on. It depends on the day, but we're pretty full.
Yeah.
It's a great report. I'm just thinking going forward, it might be a good data point for future plans.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but the one thing I do want to share with you is which I think people would love to set up more in advance, and we don't allow them to do that. We only give them a 60-day window to call and set up, because library programming is and should take precedence, and we do start to do our programming 6-9 months out. And that, if you're planning a big event, and I'll use like a graduation as an example, and we've had them, but that would be if someone is calling last minute to put something together. I know that people would love that opportunity to be booking something a year in advance, but it truly is just not doable with the flexibility that we need so that we can provide the programming that we want to do in the building. The highest mark, which I'll add, and I want to say a couple things about Amy and Dana, is that before COVID, we were bringing in revenue about 50,000, just over 50,000 in revenue. So you can see we're back up to about 38, and that is, they're bringing in and working with people all day long. They're doing a fabulous job. Amy and Dana both are the faces of meeting rooms and have provided excellent customer service. I think that's a big part of the numbers, which is why I asked Amy to come tonight. I think she needed to be recognized and thanked for the work that she does in the office. Those comments, many of those are because she's the voice and the smile on the other side of the phone a lot of the times when people are calling. In addition to that, I also want to call out admin team, but also our amazing facilities team, because everything has to be set up through a facilities person. We don't allow people to move tables and stuff for liability purposes. Everything has to be done by the team internally, and then our IT team. So without those three working together, which Amy is the conduit to, she is in constant contact with our facilities team and IT to make sure everything coming from her is then executed back out. It's a great trifecta between the three of them. So thank you, Amy, for your leadership and helping out with that.
Thank you.
She has a great leader as well in Dana, who I know they work very well together. Any other questions for Amy tonight? Yes.
Great job.
Oh, I just want to say a quick comment. So I personally have worked with Amy in setting up lots of meetings for Rotary, and I knew right away that she was making my life at that time so much easier. And a lot of people don't know, but we are basically a one-stop shop for them. Like, they have the space and we have catering, and Amy just helps us set everything up. So I just felt really taken care of. So you're awesome, and I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Kathy, where's that?
I just wanted to say, I didn't realize that all of this was going on with meeting room space. I just thought somebody was calling up and saying, can I have a room on a certain day? I love it that you're sending out in advance, ideas about setup and everything, because I think that really helps people decide, what is possible, I guess, all of the options that they have. So I love that. It's very businesslike. I think it's,
We are running a small.
yeah, it's very businesslike. No, I think that's great. You've done a great job, and I really loved your presentation.
Thank you.
I did just think of a question. I'm sorry. Do we get a lot of like later requests, like evening meetings yet? Do we? Because I know we have like the beer and wine license, right?
We do.
Okay.
Those would have to be after hours.
Okay.
So typically weekend, those would probably be used more.
Do we get those?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
on occasion, not as much, but yes, we do. But then also evenings, almost, I mean, Monday through Thursday, almost every night of the week, she's booking something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of local businesses, organizations, HOAs, right? And HOAs, why don't you talk quickly about the HOA?
Sure, yeah, so we do offer something for our Novi HOAs where once a year for their annual meeting, they can actually get the room rented for free if they agree to have one of our managers come and do just a quick presentation about the library at the beginning so that all of their residents can hear about all the great things that the library is offering.
Thank you,
Thank
Amy. You did a
you.
great job. Thank you. Okay, our next presentation tonight is with Sue Johnson, our wonderful friends of the Novi Library. You know they are our arm and our fabulous advocates, and she's our number one advocate. So here she is, Sue Johnson.
Thank you for inviting me. I like to do this. I can get my presentation up there.
Right up, slideshow right at the top there.
I'll get it.
You got it.
On the far left, it says from beginning.
Yes.
That would be a good place to start. Okay. Just, we've had a good year. A few things. This is our third Summer Song Fest. We started it during COVID when everybody, even remember back then? I mean, everybody was kind of wearing masks and a little hesitant about coming, but it was a great success. We've done senior outreach now for 2 years. The coming one is our third year. And I've got to tell you a story. So one of the individuals at Walden Woods, we do not do senior outreach at Walden Woods. He bought a leaf for the giving tree. And so he got my canned letter saying, thank you and all this. And in it I said, this helps support things like senior outreach. So he writes me an email and he says, oh, I love the thank you letter you sent me, but Walden Woods has never gotten a concert by the Friends. So we will be going to Walden Woods. We have to now add someone to our senior outreach concert series. But I thought that was cute. We've done an upgrade to our book nook, which I'll talk about a little later. We had our first volunteer appreciation breakfast since 2018. It has been that long, and we've had a lot. Of course, during COVID, we had a very small group of people that were keeping our book nook going. But it was so nice to get together. And we made an exception and invited the maintenance staff, which is so great for the book nook. I mean, they just are wonderful to us. And Gail Anderson, who does all of our music series for us and just does a great job at finding music talent. So we, besides our volunteers, we invited part of the library staff that helps us so much during the year, and we appreciate them. And of course, the giving tree. Okay, how do I get this to go?
Here's a little arrow. Look on the keyboard, it should.
All right. There we go. Okay, so for last year, $26,075 of money was spent between annual contributions and the wish list. We kept switching things around on the wish list because some things just weren't ready to be done, but other things came ahead. So I don't know, we made 4 or 5 changes, which everybody was in support of. Have you seen the awards display case? It's lovely. It's right as you go in to the left, it's instead of the screen that was there. And it's very nice. Very, very nice. Yes, yes. That was one of our things that came up at the end of the year, and we said, yes, we can get that in. So, iCube, $4,500. We've got 2 fantastic workstations that allow you to use Adobe Creative Space in a reasonable speed. The other ones kind of, you hit the button and then you went out and got a coffee, and maybe 10 minutes later you came in and the screen came up. These come right up. Yes, the Friends have a system like that, so we sympathize with that. We had Community Read last year. Music programs, I think that might have been a record 8,600 for music programs, but they were great. We had events associated with it too. We had Broadway, we had the Broadway event, and she was fantastic. And we had, desserts and stuff. So we're going to be doing that again, I think in November. I think you're right. So that was fun too. Book Nook, $24,529 in just book sales from the Book Nook. That was a little under what we'd done last year. We think the disruption of roads around the library impacted people's willingness to drop in and get a book. It was so tedious for a while, even those of us who came frequently. Which period of time during the day can I come that I will be able to get through as easily as possible? And the Taft Road doesn't seem to impact us any now, and it seems as though things are picking up. We have a children's sale going on right now. We always do that right before school starts, so if teachers want to get books for their classrooms or parents want to get books thinking forward to their kids' reading, this is the time of year we do that. Internet sales, we work with an internet seller. We got $1,000 from him. We sold Community Read books during that event, so we got a little money from there. And we have a very generous donor who doesn't want me to use her name anymore, that gave us $5,000 to update the Book Nook. So we have 2 new chairs. Yes. We have a new cart. We have a new scanner for scanning books to pricing. We have new locks. The locks get used so often that after a time, the glass display cases we lock when no one's there to take money. And it's a struggle to get them in there and get them open. So we replaced all the locks. So we spent about $3,600, $3,700. And she gave us $5,000, so we have a little bit left if we need something in the future. But prior to this, I can look back 10 years. We had only ever spent $5,000 during the past 10 years on the Book Nook. So we got new signage. It looks very nice. If you get a chance, it does. Take a look. And the library had gotten some of the stands that allow you to display a book upright. So I thought that was a great idea. So we got some of those, so now the Book Nook has, upward-facing books. So that's fun. It's fun to upgrade things. Membership, $7,000. That's a little below last year. We've got 315 members. That's 236 memberships. So a membership can be a couple, a family, so there are fewer memberships than there are members. Okay. We had 57 new members this year. 47 of those we gave free with the raffles. The individual who gave us the Book Nook money for the upgrade also supported 2 different raffle baskets. One was the Michigan basket, and one was our gardening basket. And so with the purchase of a $5 raffle ticket, that's a donation. You get a free membership if you're not currently a member. So during the course of both those raffles, we had 47 individual memberships, which we hope will keep going. Only 27 did not renew from the past year, which was very good. We had other donations of $3,300, which is not bad at all. They come from, sometimes people just write us a check from their, Fidelity or Schwab retirement accounts. That's very nice. We always we get $200, $750, something here, some there. United Way, we get money from United Way. Kroger, a lot of people have Kroger for the Friends. We get donations at events. Our holiday sale, people just put a little extra in. Book Nook, we get donations. And then our raffles we consider our raffles donations. So we did very well. Thanks to Kat, too. The Giving Tree. This was our new thing this year. We decided on this based on, Carol Newman is our assistant Book Nook manager. And her sister in Florida has the same style of giving tree that we do. And she was so impressed with this that she said, it's not that expensive, so let's think about it. Well, we did, and we found a place. The biggest thing was finding a place for it. The library, it has so much art, which is wonderful, but there are very few bare walls left. I think there are none now, right?
I do believe there are none.
Yeah. So we unveiled it in April of 2023. We paid $49.50 for the entire tree with all the leaves. It is bronze. The trunk is bronze. The leaves are metal, and they are imprinted. They're not engraved. Engraving ones can not wear well over time, but the imprinted ones always maintain and look very nice. So our revenue, we've had 20 gold leaves, 5 silver, 2 were thank you leaves. We thanked O'Brien Sullivan because they have been so good to us year after year, and they sponsor Summer Song Fest, and Paradise Park, who donates the venue. So there are 2 thank you leaves on the tree for them. And we have 5 bronze. So the way the structure works, if we send in at least 6 leaves to be imprinted, it's $4 per leaf plus shipping. So we've sent first batch, I think was 18, second batch 12, and I have 1 outstanding now. So it's been very successful, and it just kind of sits there and gives us a nice revenue stream. So looking forward, we committed to almost $30,000 for the coming year. The annual contributions were pretty much the same, summer reading, and that sort of thing. And we had I'd have to mention the summer reading event that we funded. That was one of the other things that we kind of juggled money around, and 1,400 people on one day for summer reading. That was quite a challenge.
That was
as I
the big
understand
kickoff
it.
part. That was the big kickoff part.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the big kickoff. I got a call on face painting. I actually got this call during the day. At the end of face painting, they were done, but they had a 20, 30 kids yet to be face painted. Can we have X more dollars just to keep them another hour? I said, yes, don't worry about it. So we're going to do support staff logo, shirts, sweatshirts, whatever they want.
Which hasn't been done in a few years, so
Yeah.
thank you.
iCube, about 2,000. And once again, we're going to put on the kiosk for the upgrade to get library cards out there. And again, senior outreach and Summer Song Fest and all of those things. So we are looking forward to a great year. And
Sue, thanks so much. If it weren't for you, I'll tell you what, that ship wouldn't sail
Yeah.
as well as it does. You have a wonderful team, I know you do.
we do.
They work very well with you. One of the new things coming, we just had a meeting with Sue. You know, we work with a vendor that picks up books so that we can do, if they're donations, they might potentially turn into money back to the library. And the Friends have offered to take on that full, there's a lot of work involved with scanning and looking at what costs of books are and whether thrift books will want them. The Friends is going to take on that project, and they will now receive that money, though. So we're like, they'll do the work, therefore they're going to receive the money that we would get in for thrift books. And they are always championing our programs and what we're doing. So I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much.
And we appreciate you.
Any questions for Sue?
I have one about the giving tree.
Yes.
So when how many will you max out? How many leaves will there be to max out the tree?
200.
200.
Yeah.
So would that bring you like an estimate income?
It's hard to say. We estimated 50 gold and 75 bronze and silver. However, majority of people are choosing gold. So we asked them at the beginning, yes, it's good for us. If we don't estimate right, can we swap out? And they said yes. So if we end up, we need more gold and less silver, but we just mail them back to them and they'll mail us the alternative ones. But we're fine for now. Actually, all of the leaves look very nice. It's a nice effect with the three colors.
Yeah, I like the location of it too.
I do too.
Yes.
That's stunning when you first walk
Yes.
in and you see it. To me, the value of it is that, oh, wow, this library has a lot of support. I mean, it looks that way.
Yes.
So
Yes.
how many leaves have you already, the total number you have now?
You mean
25.
imprinted, right?
Yeah, the ones that are sold.
We have, do I have a total? 30. 30 and a request for one.
Okay.
So,
So,
Three on
and the max,
hopper, I just haven't done it yet, so.
and the max is 200. Yeah, I'm thinking about it too.
Right.
The max is
Absolutely.
200.
yeah.
Sue, do you have a ballpark of what you thought this tree would generate for revenue total? I know it's gonna be different, but what did you just ultimately think as your goal?
If I was thinking if the average is 150, if we had a third split, then 200 by 150. So
Yeah,
a nice
Yeah.
amount.
that is.
So if Julie comes and says, hey, it'd be really nice to have XYZ, we said, yeah, we have a little fun for that.
Yes.
I have a question, Sue. Thank you, first of all, for everything that you do and the partnership. I saw the internet sales.
Yes.
Can you elaborate what, gets sold over there?
We have a partnership with an individual
Okay.
who sells the odd, higher-priced nonfiction stuff mainly.
Okay.
Things that our community we would never sell in our community. He has the oddest list of things that he can actually sell. He sells on Amazon and he sells on eBay.
Okay.
So things that in our community no one would buy. Sometimes they're, a 10 DVD set of some
Okay.
strange thing. So he pretty much things that we look at everything, and if we think we can sell it, we keep it for the book nook,
Okay.
because it's,
Sure.
the donations are intended to go back to the community. But if we're pretty sure we're not going to sell it and its value comes up as over, I think, $15, then he takes it
I
and
see.
sells it.
Okay.
So,
There's a real market out there, people
Yeah.
looking for that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
sure.
yeah.
Thank you for the explanation.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sue. Well, last but not least is our president and chair of the Historical Commission, Ray Minella, also a wonderful librarian at our library. So Ray, come on up. Thank you.
Oh, well, all right. It looks different on the computer than I was expecting, but that's fine. So as Julie said, my name is Ray, short for Rachel Manella, and I'm the chair of the Novi Historical Commission. And the commission works with the library, the city, and other partners to preserve Novi's history and provide historically relevant information to the community. So we can talk about that name thing later if you like. Our current members are myself, Kathy Crawford is our vice chair, Kim Nice is our treasurer, Daniel Pierce is our secretary, and then we have some members at large, Kelly Casper, Debbie Roble, and Sharon Larson. And then we also have Betty Lang as our library liaison, so she connects us to the library, through the local history room. She advises us on things, buys things that we might approve with our budget. And then also we have an avid volunteer who can't serve on the commission. She doesn't live in the city of Novi, but she helps with all of our programs and puts our displays together, and her name is Sue Grifford. She comes to our meetings and stuff, so we always like to give her a shout out. So we have a lot of ongoing projects. Throughout the year, we hold office hours in the local history room. We also have the rights to sell David Barr's book called Villa Bar about his home here in Novi, which is now an art park run by the city. So we have the rights to that book. We sell it through the library. They're $20 if you're interested. We've also developed a talk about him and his property that we've given at the library a couple times. Have we given it anywhere else, Kathy?
Pardon?
Have we given the talk anywhere else about David? We tried to.
Fox Run.
Oh, yeah, Fox Run. And I'll talk about our talks in a little bit. Some other ongoing projects. Our main way we serve the community as far as like what's visible and what people know us for are our speaker series, which is something I took on when I came back and moved back after college and joined the commission, was developing this speaker series. So we work to provide well-researched and legitimate historical presentations by historians and reenactors about local and Michigan history. Sometimes we'll go outside of that purview if the topic is really popular or interesting. So in the past, I've had someone come in and talk about the history of football, including soccer, rugby, British football, Australian football, things like that. We have someone coming this year to talk about the Titanic, because that's a very popular topic. People are interested in it. But mostly we stick to things that are related to either Novi or the surrounding areas or Michigan. And then last year we had a reenactor talk about Prohibition. She's really great. I've had her multiple times. When I've been in a bind and someone canceled on me last minute, I've had her come back because she's just a fan favorite. We had someone come in and talk about the history of Willow Run. We also had a different reenactor and historian talk about the Ladies of the Light. So a lot of lighthouses in Michigan, and a lot of lighthouses historically were run by women. They might have been daughters of a previous lighthouse keeper, a wickie as they're known, or a wife or sister, or just a woman on her own. So I thought that was a really interesting topic. We had a PhD candidate come and talk about the LGBTQ community in the labor movement here in Michigan. And then we also had a reenactor talk about a woman who disguised herself so she could be a Union soldier. So lots of interesting talks coming to the library through us. Another major project that we have is the Wreaths Across Novi. I know I've seen Kat at our previous events. This was developed by Kim Nice and Kelly Casper, who are commission members, as a way to honor veterans buried in our historic cemeteries. The idea was borrowed from the practice of laying wreaths at federal cemeteries, and then we adapted it for our local community. And then 2023, this year, marks our 5th anniversary, so we're actually holding our Wreaths Across Novi event on Veterans Day in November. So I'm sure you'll all receive invitations from Kim about that. We try to invite commission members and library board members to that, so keep an eye out. We partner with Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to help lay the wreaths. It's very nice. Another way that we help the library and the community is by helping fund some updates to the local history room. This past year, we purchased a new computer and a printer. We're currently looking into purchasing a new microfilm reader. We help share costs for the digitization of newspapers, as well as buying archival materials to protect documents. And then we also help host document donation days to encourage members of the community to donate materials such as meeting minutes, photos from community groups or events, and other documents. We get all sorts of stuff. Some things we say yes, obviously, to. Some we have a procedure that we worked out with Betty Lang. Some things we say no to. So if you were ever to bring something, it's not a guarantee that we'll take it, but we might also have an idea of where it could go as far as other historical organizations around southeastern Michigan. So some things that we have in development, we're always looking for new ways to preserve and present the history to the public. My background is in public. I have a master's in public history as well as a master's in library science and an archival certificate. So I have a lot of practical experience with this. So we're looking at Omeka. Omeka is a site that makes it easy for you to access historical materials. But the big thing is getting those historical materials on that site, which is a lot of work and it's very labor intensive, especially if you want to do it right, including things like metadata. So right now I'm in the process, we approved hiring an intern to do some metadata work for us. That's background information about the materials that we're uploading. We're starting with pictures of every grave site in our local historic cemeteries. So I'm almost ready to make an offer to an intern, and hopefully they'll come in from one of the universities, actually from Wayne State, and do that work for us so we can get the site open and much more. I'm all about access. I want everyone to be able to access historic information, so this will make it much easier. Once we do this first project, I think getting more photos and things up will become a lot easier. There's also a miniature project that Kathy's kind of at the helm of that we're working on to develop a representation of Matt Morin's General Store, so that's in the works. Another thing that came up in a recent meeting was a desire for a senior citizen bus tour, possibly led by Kathy or another commission member. So thinking about how we can serve the community, give a little tour of Novi. We're also working on a set of programs we can so we bring in speakers to Novi Library, but other libraries are looking for speakers. So we currently have a talk about the Walled Lake Amusement Park, which was at where Pavilion Shore sits now, and then the talk about David Barr and his home here in Novi. I just want to call out some partnerships that we have. So we partner with the Northville Genealogical Society to have dedicated hours in the local history room where they help guests with questions about genealogical research each month. We also partnered with the library and provided $500 and some volunteers to a USO canteen event that Gail helped put on. We work with the City of Novi, of course, to update historic marker signs at both historic cemeteries. And then we often have a table at the City of Novi. They keep changing the name of their spring event, so I didn't want to put a name to it. But often with that, we'll have games, trivia. We put stickers out this year. I said to the commission, the kids love stickers. Let's make stickers. So they gave me approval to make whatever stickers I wanted about local history and stuff. And if you want one, just let me know. And we've also worked with places like Guernsey Farm and Paradise Park to give like raffle baskets away and things like that. And then, of course, our document donation days with the library. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.
I have a question.
Thank you, thank you.
You have a bus tour for senior citizens, right?
We're thinking about it. We're starting to plan and consider it. There was a request made. Someone from a senior living facility asked if we did that. So we're in talks to develop that, and we're
I was hoping you can have for teenagers who doesn't understand, the history of Novi.
Right.
Yes.
Well, we can think about that. Yeah.
Or maybe incorporating it into teen space one day
Yeah,
after
movie.
school,
Okay.
since your audience is there.
Yeah.
The first thing I know, they'll ask you, why is Novi Novi? Number 6.
Everybody still says it's because of the stop.
Right.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's not
that's
true.
what I thought.
Yes.
That's what
So
I thought.
I'll
You'll
put it-
have to go to a program and
Yeah,
find
right.
out.
It's not true.
We'll
I
make
can-
sure you all get an invite. Yes. Any other?
Thank you.
Yep, go ahead.
So I was, sometimes I like poking around our website and going to the historical section because I want to learn more. One of the things I was trying to figure out that might be interesting, I don't know, I'll leave that up to you guys, but I'm trying to figure out what tribes were around here, specifically in this area, way back when. And I know like in Michigan we have Ojibwe and Anishinaabe, like, but it's very general and I have no clue like where to start.
So, I mean, I would recommend going to speaking to like someone at Oakland University
Oakland
or
University, okay.
Western or Central. They all have strong Native American history programs, but it's going to be most likely the Potawatomi in this area,
Okay.
and smaller bands that are from the larger Chippewa Nation.
Okay.
But
That's stuff that I find so interesting, so I was just wondering about.
yeah, so we do get questions about that. There is a map inside the local history room that kind of is a map of the area and does point to some areas that might. That history's difficult because most Native American history was the oral tradition, and unfortunately in Western thought we disregarded that for so long that it's difficult to pull it back now. But there are people working on that, and there are some firsthand accounts of early settlers in Novi we do have in the room that make mention of Native Americans.
Cool.
They don't necessarily know what their tribes were when
Okay.
they talk about them.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome.
We have an amazing value in Ray and Betty, and Ray with her archival background as well. So I just want to thank you so much for coming out as a historical, but also as an employee. We benefit both ways with Ray joining us. I do want to share, this is one of the reasons why tonight I took, because it was towards the end of our annual year and starting the new year, for you to have a little bit of idea of how we're connected and how there's some additional arms that really are a part of the library that we work with on a regular basis. We truly would not have some of the successes without our friends and without our historical commission, because they have brought so much programming and resources to the library. So these are two major groups that I will continue. You see their minutes every month, so they really are a part of us and connected, that you'll always have information. But Ray, thanks so much for coming this evening. This is the first time in years, actually. I know it was pre-COVID, that we had someone from the Historical Commission and actually present some information. You did a fabulous job and gave the board a really good overview of what that commission truly does, which is very important to the work we're doing and to the community. So thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
I think we should also know that Ray is particularly unique because as a Novi High School student.
Yes.
Did you came as a volunteer, or were
I
you
was-
appointed to be for the youth?
So just like you had your student here,
Yeah.
I served on the Historical Commission when I was at Novi High School.
Yeah, so she came, and then she stayed. and when she went off to college, you know, she still stayed on the commission, and we really have appreciated, you know, her being so loyal to the history of Novi. It's really been important, and especially now it's so helpful because she has all this library background that, you know, especially about archival information that we as regular volunteers don't really know all that, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. President. I don't think we're all done.
Okay.
Yeah. I gave you all a lot this evening, but I truly believe it was worth it.
At this time is our opportunity for public comment. In order to hear all the citizens' comments at a reasonable hour, the library requests that speakers respect the 3-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer session, however, it's an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the library board. Citizens must state their first name and address. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to participate in public comment?
You
I
scared
do
them
not see,
off.
I scared the few members left.
Once you said that.
What was it about you that made you no.
Moving on, we've already had the report from our student representative. Next report is the president's report.
before we
Tonight,
get to that, though. I just have I have announcement.
Okay.
Sort of, you
Okay.
know, during your president's report, you said you wanted people to, if they had something.
Yes, yes.
Right. Okay, well, I have something.
okay,
So, just what,
before the report.
oh, for your president's
No,
report?
go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, I passed out this flyer right here. Maybe you don't know, but we used to have a senior center in Novi, and now we really haven't had one now for about 10 years. I started it like 30 years ago. And anyway, now what Parks and Rec, now what we have is people just take classes and programs if they're over 55, but there's no gathering place. And statistics have proven that the group of people that really need socializing more than anything are older adults. So they want a gathering space. Almost every community around us has a senior center where seniors can go. But see, we have so many congregate living sites, and they all have their own little center. You know, there's a lot of most people are living independently in their own homes, and they have challenges or whatever, but we don't have a gathering place where they can make friends and find out about resources and that kind of thing. So Novi is having focus groups. There's a committee has been established by the mayor to find out what all the needs are of older adults in the city. So there's going to be a focus group, and I would love it. If you know anyone that's 55 and over, Mark, if you know anyone that's 55 and over, they are eligible to come to this, because I really, really hope that you will promote it and you will tell people that are 55 and over to come to these focus groups and say how important it is for seniors to know and to gather and meet friends so they can make new connections, so they will thrive and continue to live here in Novi. That's the desire of the group, you know, but if people don't come and say they want that, then it's not going to happen.
Is this already on the government social media, Kathy, that we could share it there?
I don't know.
If they put it up yet? Okay.
Well, I mean, it's a flyer that was sent to me by the city, so
It's
I mean, I
probably soon.
presume it's
Okay.
probably up there. So,
Okay.
you know, I can send it to anybody electronically if you want to share it with anybody, but
Kathy,
please,
can
by
you-
all means.
Can you also send it to me electronically? Because I can make sure it hits RE News that will go out in
Right.
September.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I
Send
missed
it to me electronically
Okay,
too. And I'll
okay.
make sure it gets in our.
And the
yeah.
tricky part on the flyer doesn't really emphasize it, but you have to call and make a reservation for your space. The great thing is that people that sign up are going to get a Novi Stadium blanket and a gift card to a local restaurant. So, you know, you'll get a dinner too, so look at that.
Do they know
And
where they're hosting it?
Well, there's a location, is there a location?
Yeah, I don't see a
Oh,
location.
you know what? It's probably, maybe when they put the flyer out, they weren't really sure. But
Okay.
I assume it's going to be here at the Civic Center.
Okay.
If we had a
somewhere.
senior center, it could be.
If we had a senior center,
Be at the
yeah,
senior
it
center.
would be there, right? Yeah. But that's what we want. We need a gathering place for older adults, because if they come even for pickleball or they come for some event, they want coffee first and socialize, and then afterwards maybe go to lunch. They need connections. They need to maintain connections. So there's that. That's one thing.
Okay.
So Kathy,
thing.
one question.
The other thing, I'm on an advisory board for
Excuse me, Kathy.
Erickson throughout the United States.
One question.
yes.
It's 50 plus, right? Not 55.
Oh, what does it say? 50? 50, yes.
Is that
50
right?
plus.
That's right? Okay.
Whatever it says on the flyer, 50.
They're
50
thinking that
plus.
we're younger
Yeah,
now.
because if you're
I'm
50,
now part of the group, I
Yes.
guess.
50, you're getting there though. You will get there if you're lucky.
I'm feeling it.
If you're getting there, you will eventually.
You might be 55 by the time the center's built.
Exactly.
Fun-
You probably will be for sure.
Fun fact, you can join AARP at any age, and I am a member.
Good for you.
That's all.
Well, that's good. So anyway, the other thing I started to tell you is that I'm on the advisory board for Erickson, and Erickson is the corporation that has owned Fox Run, and they have facilities throughout the United States. And I'm on this panel, and they send us surveys periodically. I always like to keep up with these surveys nationwide to find out what they say. And I thought you would be interested to know is that they did a survey. There's about 600 of us on this advisory board. So the survey was asking about in-home activities. What do you like to do the most? The highest percentage of all for what they wanted to do was reading. So I thought you would be interested to know that. And in addition, they like to do genealogical research. So there's that, and, they like to do volunteering. So those were very high. 81% of the people that were surveyed said reading was was the number one thing that they wanted to do. So I thought you would be interested in that. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is the Michigan State Fair is next week, right here in Novi. Thursday is Senior Day. So any senior, 55 and over, gets in free to the state fair. And I believe veterans also. But one of the other things that's really cool, because we have a program, but then also if you want to go to the fair and not go to the program, you can go to the fair free. Not the rides aren't free and the circus isn't free, but you can get in to see the animals and everything. But we also have a program, and we have 850 seniors registered to come to this program on Thursday morning. And we have lots of volunteers. They'll have a breakfast, continental breakfast and lunch. But we have games like the old state fair used to have. And this year we're doing a Mr. Legs contest. And yours truly, our president, is going to be a part of the Mr. Legs contest at the state fair. I don't know if he's going to win. I haven't seen his legs lately. But, it's possible. It's possible he'll win a fabulous prize. I don't know. So there will be pictures. So I just thought I'd let you all know. Next Thursday, Mr. Legs. Okay, I'm done, sorry. I think this community has a lot of fun. Yeah.
In addition to the things that Kathy has reported on, I just think tonight was an excellent example of the partnership, based on the presentations that we've received earlier, of the partnerships that the Novi Public Library has. That the presentations by the Friends, the presentation by the student representative, the presentation by the Historical Commission are just three wonderful examples of the partnerships that we have that make our message reach more people and goes out there, and it's all good, it's all positive.
And we have some great people, some amazing people. As you can see, you got to meet them tonight. And I will continue to do that. I want you to continue to meet faces and people that are on our team so that you know what their role is in our organization. It is obviously, I know I'm here tonight and I speak for a lot of it usually every month, but I think it's important for you to get to know the individuals that are behind a lot of the work that's going on. Mm-hmm. So I appreciated Amy coming tonight. Ray, you know her as librarian, but also Historical Commission, and then obviously our friends. And Abai, I just think, is a wonderful young man as well. So we've been very fortunate to have such great people that have been connecting with us. I appreciate that, President Stirring, very much. Thank you.
I've had the honor this past month of going to a couple of the song fests at Paradise Park. Those seem to be very well attended. Hands out to Gail Anderson and the Friends for putting that on. The Wainwright family for hosting us at Paradise Park, because those seem to be gathering more and more people each time that I'm there. It's very successful.
We had a record summer. We have reached 200 plus at almost every event.
Oh,
yes.
And then for the luncheon tunes at the patio.
Yeah, the Tuesday
had a chance
tunes.
to go to a few of these this past month. Those are well attended, and
those numbers are also higher than last year.
Yep.
Yes.
So.
And that one, if you don't mind me just adding, it attracts a lot of our community that has special needs. The Tuesday one, because they work with their different organizations and caregivers to have an opportunity to get out and get involved in the community. So we're really glad that we can be providing that type of programming for them.
And I've noticed the buses from the various senior communities that they're bringing the people here, and it seems to be well attended, enjoyed by those people. They're bussing them in the little small mini buses.
They are, and I can tell you that I did just find out one of them, they actually come from Southfield. So they're not even in our community. They've heard what we're doing, and they're driving over they're driving over their friends and their community members over to us. So
the construction.
I think it's great. You know, they're looking for a time out and a place to go and a good activity. So, yeah, we just had a group that we worked with last week that were here from Southfield. So,
Well, you know, the great thing about that really is the fact that they'll go back to their own community
Yes.
and they will bring that up. Why can't we have that? So, yeah,
So setting
hopefully,
examples.
you know,
Yeah.
we're providing that information and making people jealous, so jealous they want to have their own.
We try.
We're the benchmark.
Lastly, I had the honor of attending a webinar the other day that Julie had pointed out to me on book banning. And obviously, that's a current topic amongst libraries today, and it was put on a couple different groups, a cooperative, Michigan Library Association, with other people. And it was a very interesting seminar, very thought-provoking. I really felt for some of the library directors that have gone through some book ban challenges and almost was very threatening to these directors. But it was extremely helpful information for me. Encourages us to look at some of our policies, and we'll be doing that in our policy reviews as we go through. But very current topic, and I'm glad that I attended, and I certainly learned a lot from it.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you attending. And also, just to add, Friday, August 18th, which was our in-service, we actually brought down Debbie Mikula, who's from the Michigan Library Association, and she spoke to the whole team about book banning and challenges, you know, from a support service and librarian perspective. Everyone from my team, including facilities and IT, was part of that conversation to hear what's going on and to be able to ask questions and stuff. So I feel like they have a good foundation, at least to start, so that they understand what's going on. I know that not all of them directly deal with it, like usually the librarians and the other professional staff do. But I think it's good for everyone in our building to have a sense of what's going on, and if they get asked, can they answer, you know, a question, or would they feel comfortable at least knowing where to gear that answer to as well. We'll be working on some talking points, knowing that we've gone through some of this training. The staff will be working on some customer service training as well coming up in the future. But it was a really good opportunity for them just to hear what's going on and how they might understand it. I think the biggest thing I took, not only from Friday, which we talked a little bit, the whole library staff and myself, but also from the webinars that I've been part of, is just remembering my freedom of what I have available, which anyone else does too, and how to make that freedom available to everyone for what they need. I use two words, what they need and what they want, which are two very different words. And I haven't been able to explain it any better than that, because when I think about it myself personally, I have different needs and wants that my neighbor, my sister, my rabbi, do you know what I mean? All of that is different from every perspective. The other thing too, and Mark was part of the opportunity when we spoke to Fox Run, was actually where we came from with this library. And it's the fact that the Friends started our library, and I know Sue's not here, but our Friends started our library over 60 years ago. And how that library started was from individuals in our community going into their homes and taking the books out of their homes to make the first Novi Public Library. We did not judge what came from each other's homes. What we did was we brought them all together. There were about 200 books, as the story has been told to me. There were 200 books that were placed in a building, very small, on Grand River, that then was available and accessible to all. I get goosebumps telling that, because that is truly where it starts. And I'd like us, if we can, as a board and myself with my team, to remember that foundation. That's what I'm asking for. I know there's a lot being challenged. I appreciate and I do listen to those who have concerns. But what I also want to go back to is what each person's freedom is for what they have to need and want for their reading, pleasures, education, etc. Thank you.
Any other trustees' experiences in the past month? Go, Kat.
So recently, it was actually a couple weeks ago now, I was asked to be on a panel to talk about library board trustee experience because I'm an appointed official, but I was on a panel with someone who is an elected official from Heartland. They elect their library board out there. So a whole bunch of people were on, and they wanted to understand, how much work it is, and how do we get involved, and what inspired us to get involved. And so it was probably about an hour to 90 minutes and over Zoom, and had some really great questions. And I was excited to share my experience, and it made me reflect how far I've come as an individual to be a library board trustee for the community and to represent our community. Because when I was first appointed, I think it was almost 5 years ago now, and when I was a newbie, there was a lot that I didn't fully understand until I was appointed my second term. I feel like I hit the ground running my second term. But I was excited to kind of give the tools and kind of reiterate what information was out there through MLA, how, they have Trustee 101 and, all this stuff, and kind of give people that guidance that we have a manual. The state has guidelines. There's a whole bunch of things out there if you're interested in getting involved and helping to enhance your community's library and to represent libraries and to speak for your community. So it was very exciting. I wanted to share with you guys that I was totally promoting us and representing us as appointed officials. And so that's my quick update.
Well, thank you, Kat.
Thank you.
And to add to that, the Michigan Library Association and the Library of Michigan are two fabulous resources that we have access to on a daily basis. We have some free attorney opportunities. A lot of advocacy comes from those two organizations. And so it's great to have those two right here in our state and working with us and for us. Yeah. Anything else?
Any other trustees' experience?
Okay.
If not, going to move on to item 3 under reports, treasurer's report. Trustee Shara Curry.
So, just a couple things, you look at, page 34, that's our usual, the monthly financial report. This time of the year, it's kind of early, so you don't really, just want to reiterate that we obviously have budgeted for a deficit this year, so this year we want to stay on top of our finances. But if you look at the month to date, 1 month in, nothing makes much sense, so. I believe we did, what was handed out replacing what's on 35?
Right. We noticed, and I appreciate President Stern bringing to my attention this week that the fourth quarter was not noted in the report that's in your actual packet. Well, and so I wanted to make sure you had it in front of you. If you look at the yellow highlighted fourth quarter, that's what you approved towards the end of the year, knowing that we were going to be, finishing out our year. And you can compare now end balance at the very far left, if you're looking to the fourth quarter, and probably get a better sense of how we're doing with our numbers. So I wanted you to have that. And Trustee Cherukuri, do you want to speak to any of that?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay.
So on the third page there, you'll see for the 271 fund, our net of revenues and expenditures. And again, just to recap what we already know from the past year, we've ended up with a net revenue of $45,000. That's the surplus on the year. And similarly, if you go to the bottom of the next page, you'll see it was $42,272. So the surplus is a good thing. I just want to caution everyone, the surpluses are coming down, and we know we're under budgetary stress. So this is the year, we're 3 months away from starting the budget process. So this is a good time to start going through all the payments, the warrants, the budget, to start to, over the next few years, that'll be a challenge for this library, is to keep delivering the great service we do under tougher times. So.
Do you think a lot of that's due to us being understaffed, Srini? Is that still hanging over that? The positive part?
That's been, when Julie and I talked about it earlier in the month, the historic source of our surpluses, which we've had pretty much since we opened the library, is a combination of the growth in our property.
Yes.
And then in more recent years, the fact that we never hit our staffing number.
Correct.
So
Yes.
as we're starting to improve our wage scale and our working
Right.
conditions,
Right.
that bank will disappear, and that'll be a good thing because it's part of delivering our service.
Exactly. And I'd love to tell you, I feel like if I tell you this, I might jinx myself, but we will be at full staff in September. So that's, I mean, literally the whole summer has been totally geared towards getting our staffing back up. I have 7 onboardings in the next 3 weeks to get people on, and in their positions and ready to pretty much get to the bulk of the year, and start that out. So you definitely will not see much savings, if any, because I will have to bring to you, and I let Trustee Chair Curry know this, that I will have to do a first quarter amendment, knowing that these numbers were set back in January. We have all these new employees and some different salaries and stuff that were negotiated in order to bring on based on years of experience and things like that. You start with what you think you might be using for a position, but you don't know until you actually go through the process. So there will be some adjustments to that first amendment budget in personnel and probably technology, because Wi-Fi and some projects that we know are coming that we weren't necessarily planning for, that we've got to get going so that we can stay and keep on track with keeping our technology up. The Wi-Fi, by the way, project, the day we were closed on Friday of last week, we took that day to have all of our Wi-Fi installed for the internal. We have a couple connections outside the building that still have to be done, but the bulk of the project was done on Friday and was very successful. So no interruptions, and everything is working very well. So thank you for that.
And Kat, to your thing, I guess I would be remiss if I didn't add that, of course, we as a group decided to start foregoing fines. So that revenue will start to be, we'll start to miss that as we go forward in the future.
Hopefully we can catch up a little bit in meeting rooms.
Yeah.
That's where I hope this year, maybe another 20,000. If we can get to that 50 mark again, we'll bring back a little bit of that.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then in 272, it looks like some of our planned projects didn't actually happen.
They didn't,
So,
right.
So that's why the surplus is a little higher than
Yes,
projected.
yes,
So,
yep. Yeah, but thank you, I appreciate it.
that's all I got.
Any questions for our treasurer? If not, we're going to turn it over to our director for the director's report.
Well, and I know we've had a big agenda, so I'm happy to just answer questions on my report. What I do want to highlight, though, always on page 42 is our staff anniversaries, and those are coming up for September. So I'd like to acknowledge Mary Robinson from our Information Services Department. She'll be celebrating 18 years with us. Dominic Dute from our Information Technology Department, 12 years. Jill Lawson from Support Services, 4 years. Amy Crockett, I apologize, it is 1 year and she's coming on 2. So 2 years will be coming for September. And then Bindia Suryanian, she will be coming up on her 1 year anniversary for this year for September. Also, I want to note, I didn't want to do it while Sue was here, but I highly recommend all of you, if you are not, please become a friend of the library. It is minimal, and it shows a huge support to this group, and they are doing so much for us. So it's literally $10 to be a one-person membership. They do have family and things like that, but it goes a long way, and I also believe it shows your support of that organization, which is an arm of us, and they do such great work for us. So just my little plug on that. But I'm happy to answer any questions if you have anything for me.
I just want to make a comment in regard to the facilities report.
Yes.
I mean, I go to the library quite often, and I never really see anything worn down or anything like that. And that's in part because they just do such a good job of taking care of it. You don't really see the worn part because it's cleaned up and good again. But the one thing that really did stand out for me this past month was the outdoor patio. And they, clean that up, and they put a new coat on it. And it almost looked like they put down new tiles. They look so sharp.
Yes, so that's Keith and Joe Plasky, Keith Perfect and Joe Plasky from my facilities team. That was an all-day project that occurred on a really hot day, on the day that they decided to do it. So I appreciate them both. Yes, I have 3 wonderful team members from the facilities team that are constantly working on the building to keep it up. And I'll tell you what, it is not easy. You can let things go at your home. We can't do that in our building because we know you all come in and you're in there, visiting us. Plus, there's so many of you coming in. We're back up if you saw the numbers. We are definitely reaching over 1,000 on the usage per day of the building. So we are seeing those numbers back, and it is work for them to consistently look at things and make sure. And I appreciate that, Mark, because we are looking at some carpeting and things like that. It's, been 13 years, and because we're getting such great usage of the building, it's time to be looking at some areas that might need a refresher earlier than we thought, just because of the usage. So we'll be keeping you, abreast of that in the future, but thanks a lot. I just had someone from the city tell me the same thing, and it was someone from the building department. So I know they go into buildings here in the community, and he said to me, he goes, it still looks new.
Well, piggybacking a little bit on what the mayor said when Julie and Brian made the presentation to council in regard to the strategic committee report. The mayor complimented on how the facility looks so new, even though it's like 15, 16 years old.
So we're, good staff, really. Thank you. Any other questions? I know there's a lot of mini reports, but there really isn't too much to, at this time, point out to you since we're at the beginning.
I was just curious to I don't know if Jeff's had time to test it, but we really reduced the number of Wi-Fi points. Is the coverage as modeled?
We've had like I said, we've had no issues at all. There seems to be no concerns.
Okay.
Yep, it's great. He is able to monitor it differently too and look at usage, so it's great.
Cool.
Yes, he'll have stats for you. It's, the first month is going to cover the old, and then it turned over on the 18th, so it'll be a little bit of two numbers, but everything went well.
And then the new copy machines?
Those are delivered and will be installed next week. Training will begin. We are right on target for that as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the old ones, were those dollar buyout leases or FMV leases?
No, we're leasing, we had to send them back.
Okay.
Yes. So we're,
Yeah, I'm just curious what the, sometimes the $1 buyout at the end, sometimes it's FMV.
Yeah,
We don't want them anyway.
we
but
don't.
sometimes-
I have to tell you, we use them till they're
No,
ready.
Sometimes if it's $1, you can make
Yeah.
it available to the community. I saw some cities doing that now.
Well, but then they come with constant issues, which that's what we're starting to see.
Oh, yeah,
There's a
I'm
lot of
saying-
maintenance to them.
Oh, so somebody else can buy it.
Yeah, so we're like, bye, thank you for letting us use you really hard for 4 years and on your way. We're ready for some new ones.
I'm just wondering how the cafe has been doing this summer.
I do believe they're doing well, but I'd like to give you a report. So what I'll do is I'll reach out and get some information for you from the manager.
Okay.
Yes. I know that they've had some heavy days because with school, the summer school program, we had a couple days where, people didn't have electricity and they spent the day in the library. They were slammed on those days. So I will be happy to get you a report.
Okay. Okay.
We're up to the next point in the meeting for the second public comment. There's nobody left in the audience, so I can't scare anybody away this time by repeating how you approach public comment. Next item is committee reports, and I won't go through all the committees individually, but I will just ask the committee chairs if there's something they want to talk about in regard to their committee that's not specifically coming up as a matter for library board action later.
Just really quick, I wanted to note that for our DEI committee, we have a meeting on the books for September 1st.
Yes.
So we were able to finalize that. So I just wanted to let the rest of the trustees know. So thank you to Kathy and to Priya for being so flexible with my new schedule.
Okay.
So I appreciate that.
Any other chairs from committees? Priya?
Yep, just for the events, firstly, I wanted to mention about iCube. We had iCube be at the Robot in the Park event. There was an event called Robot in the Park on August 11th at the Lakeshore. And thanks to, Julie, Dana, and the team. And it was amazing. They had a booth. Like, it's basically robots. Like, we have a high school team, robot team, and then our team, like the Robo Titans, actually kind of host that whole event. And we had several kids from the community. And it was amazing to have them there because I think, it was a good awareness about iCube. That's what, and it was perfect having the robotics team there because the teams will want to go and print 3D printed items and stuff. So they had it all displayed there. So it was just an amazing partnership, I would say.
And I think you had Dom and Anna
Yes.
from the team that
Yep.
joined you. And Dom is our supervisor of the iCube, and Anna is a technology assistant that works very closely in the iCube. So great.
they were
and then
amazing.
2 more people that people are able to meet,
Yeah.
because those are regular faces in that space. Yeah, great. Good. Well,
No,
thank you
that's
for
great.
inviting us.
No, that's great. And then page 99, I think we had some updates, but I just wanted to highlight, we mentioned this in the last meeting, but here you can see just a couple of things. The Read and the Recreation Program, they had mentioned that it's September and October, where we are partnering with the Novi Parks and Rec along with us. And I think the way it's going to work is go around the parks, and then you will have milestones and markers there. So it's going to be exciting for the community to do that.
It's done in a bingo game. So from the bingo game and the card, you'll have to go to certain things in order for you to get so many, in order for you to get a bingo, and then you'll be put into a raffle and opportunities to win something. But it is encouraging people to get not only into parks, but also to library activities as well. So Read and Recreation. September is Library Card Sign-Up Month, so we wanted something that we could do with that, and we thought we would include our parks friends as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, that's all I had.
Any other committee chairs, anything? If not, moving on to matters for library board action. Tonight, we have two activities to move on. The first is the approval updates for the guest behavior policy reviewed by library staff and attorney, pages 52 to 65 in our booklet. I'll entertain a motion from the trustees to approve this in order for us to talk about it.
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion in regard to the proposed revisions to the guest behavior policy? I had one comment myself.
Absolutely. What page
Yeah, that's a good question. It's on page 61.
Okay.
It's section 22, which is a new section
Yes.
in regard to missing and lost persons.
Yes.
And it is the second proposed sentence that says, staff will not make a public announcement, but can assist the guest in contacting public safety upon request. I understand that we don't want to necessarily make a mandatory public announcement, but I'm not so sure there aren't times that we would want to make a public announcement. And I question whether it should be, we will not make a public announcement, or we may choose to make or not make a public. I just think just because a patron says make a public announcement, we don't have to do it. But there may be a time when we want to make an announcement as to a missing person or something like, at least in my opinion. Maybe you know some rationale
Yeah.
that I'm not thinking of.
In terms of safety, as we've been guided, we wouldn't want to do that.
We never want to make the public announcement?
No. So we've been asked by, we've talked with not only our police department and attorney, but that's not the best route to go, is to alert a whole group of people that there's a missing person, because you don't know the significance behind how that missing person has occurred. And that's the bigger, it can be someone looking for someone because they're wanting to get after them. So there's a safety concern. We have to really think of how that's defined. So making an announcement like that, we would not do. We would work very closely with the police department to do everything we can, and they would prefer to handle it in that way than not have it spread widely like that. So we have not done that in the past. It seems to bring bigger panic and concern when you do that. So that's how we've been given, guidance. And I would agree, because you don't know what side you're coming from. And again, and this all came up because we've had a couple situations. So we have in place that we will help and find. Police are very quick to come over. We work with families, parents, whatever it is. But we've had the other side too, where someone's called and said, I'm looking for someone who looks like this. Can you please help us? And we don't know what that person is on the other side. We don't know that, you don't know that other person. And then that's the safety concern that also gets involved. So are we gonna make an announcement like that when we don't know what the other side is? So I wanna be very careful. I mean, I can continue to look into this, but this was vetted by attorney, and I didn't want to bring this until I knew for sure, which is why I was late to getting information to you, to make sure that this made sense for what we were wanting to add, since this is new language.
I mean, I understand that, and I'm not suggesting we would have an obligation to make a public announcement. I'm just thinking we want to leave that possibility open at our discretion.
Well, the discretion, no matter what, the way this is worded is that we don't want someone telling us to do it. We already can. My staff will do it if they feel comfortable. It's how we're dealing with the public that we can say we're not going to do it. Does that make sense? I want to leave it on my staff to make that decision if they feel like they need it. If we don't put it this way, people will challenge us to do it. And I don't want them to be put in a situation where they're being told or forced to when they're not comfortable. I think we have to look from both sides. So I'd rather leave it for now. And I'd rather actually leave it for now and see if there's any concern for it. Sometimes you have to work a policy when you're putting something new in to see if it's actually working for what you need. And I'd rather do that.
I mean, if you guys have it, I mean, this is obviously a newly created.
It is. This particular part is new.
Is there something driving it? I mean, has there been?
Yes,
something-
we've had a couple calls we've taken where people want us to identify people and find people. No. We do not want to do that.
No.
That's not for us to be doing. What we do is if you feel like you have a missing person, we want you to call the police right away. Don't call us and let us do it. We don't want to be the police. We need you to make sure that is the proper protocol. So I don't want that to be on my staff to take that on, and then if they don't find someone or something's happening, they're then feeling responsible for it, when it should have, if it truly is what it is, they are working directly with who they need to, which is our police department.
That makes sense.
I think we have to be very careful about things like this nowadays. I'd rather work with we have an amazing police department. They have always been very receptive, even in gut feeling type stuff, and not even necessarily an emergency where they would work with us. So this allows us that. I'd rather stay stronger at this moment.
Okay?
I have one.
Priya.
So for number 19,
Okay.
the personal property, the last one, just trying to understand. So items will be moved to lost and found. So we do have a,
We do.
We
We
do.
have a lost and found.
may
Yes.
be removed from the library. So it'll be moved to lost and found because it's going to be removed from the library.
Yes.
If they reasonably appear to be abandoned or have been left unattended for 30,
Oh,
10
sorry.
minutes.
I'm sorry. Yes, it should be 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Yeah. So we use this one. We love our teenagers,
I know, yeah, no,
but they leave their very valuable items sitting unattended. I mean, laptops, phones, all kinds of stuff. And we're trying so that we have this in place to be able to say, don't do that. There's a policy and we're not responsible and we don't want you to lose them. So we're going to tell you right now, they're going to be moved quickly, because if we move them to lost and found, they're at least put somewhere where
Yep.
someone's not going to walk away with them. So we're helping them out, but we also, yeah.
no, thankfully you have that. Thank you.
Gosh, the fall's coming. This is why, everyone, you're getting this policy, because we are, we're revamping and looking at things because fall's coming and we're going to get even busier. We're excited to bring back our teenagers and see more of them. We saw a lot this summer, but to see more of them, larger capacities.
Right.
And it's just important for us, to have a few things after last year, to have a few more things in place. Yes.
So on item 14,
Yes.
for the sternos.
Yes.
Does that affect catering? That was the first thing that popped in my head, because don't we use those for catering?
If it's a library program,
Yeah.
it's not a problem.
Okay,
But we don't allow it if it's not a library program.
right.
And
That
if,
makes sense.
if they, and I can tell you, if they
Yeah.
are catering
Yeah.
and they're working with our catering company,
Yeah.
the catering company has to be on site.
Got it.
So they have to be there and aware of and be able to react to the Sterno situation.
Does this
We-
actually come up?
Yes.
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 Honestly, yes.
Because Sterno, it is, I mean, that
Yeah.
is the way people are heating things, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Sterno and books do not
I'm with you.
play well together. So we really, I mean, and there's other ways, there's electronic and stuff, or electric warming and
Surprise.
stuff, but it is one of the deterrents of meeting rooms for big catering and big parties, because
Right.
people need and want that sometimes.
Sure.
But at the same time, then we're probably not the best venue. You'll want to
Right.
work with a bigger venue that can handle that kind of capacity if you're going to want that. So, yeah, we had to make sure that, and the wording, as you can see, flame producing. Because we didn't want to mention everything. We just want to know that, you to know that nothing with a flame that creates a
lot of
flame
devices
is
now.
allowed, including birthday candles. You can have a wonderful child's birthday party, but you are not allowed to blow out the candle at the library. There's just some things that just don't mix well.
And
Go
then,
ahead, Kat.
So for number 10,
Yes.
for loud noise,
Yes.
I just am like, I want to be cognizant of some things that got recently brought up. We don't have to go into it, but
Sure.
I think like my one concern is like when we have individuals that possibly are nonverbal
Yes,
or stemming.
yes.
If they're stemming, it might be outwardly. If people don't know what that is, sometimes when kids are nonverbal or adults and they're on the spectrum, they might get really excited and be very exuberant. And if we don't understand that, it could be like disturbing to us as patrons of the library. So I'm kind of wondering how we're going to navigate that with this policy, because right now it's basically like not allowing
Right.
that.
Well,
Even.
no, that's a great question, and I'll tell you how we're going to handle that.
Okay.
With some new training.
Okay.
So I
Got
think
it.
it's important for my team to know what to recognize and know the difference.
Yeah.
And to be able to work with that, do you know what I mean? And be able to
Yeah.
explain it and understand it better, but also have some good guidelines just for behavior that wouldn't be associated in that way, knowing
Right.
that it's coming, yes, from that
I had to
particular.
look that up too. 'Cause I was
Absolutely.
just like, okay,
Yes.
let me understand this more.
Sure, and we
so,
are.
okay.
We're going to be doing some training with all the team.
Okay,
Yes,
thanks.
thank you.
In regard to that, Kat, I think the comment at the end of that first sentence, with the intent of annoying,
Yes,
helps to address that.
absolutely.
Because that is more of an involuntary
Right.
noise.
Yep, no.
That has no
Yeah.
You are
intent.
correct.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Yes. Yep. No, thank you. It's not a lot of changes. 11 and 22 were the bulk. We're going to be doing just some renumbering and things like that, just trying to clean it up to make it easier for the team, to use when they have to interact with someone where they might have a concern. But I appreciate all the comments. Thank you.
You want us to adopt this now, or are you coming back?
Nope, I'd really like it tonight if possible, because we're coming towards fall. So with having it staff reviewed and attorney reviewed, we felt very confident with it tonight.
Okay, then based on the one comment that we had, I would like to entertain the motion to change 30 to 10
Yes.
in
Yes.
paragraph 19.
Yep.
You want to make that motion, Priya? I think you brought it up.
Motion to,
Can we just amend?
Yeah,
Amend-
I'll make,
amend
to
the-
amend it.
Okay,
amend it to it.
well, I think I made the motion, right?
To approve.
To approve.
Yes.
So I just need to amend it, right?
You
Yeah.
can
Sure.
add it as amendment.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
I'll amend that section in number 19 to take out the 30, I
Thank you.
believe it is.
Yeah.
And,
I forgot who seconded. Was
Yeah.
that me?
pardon? Yeah, you were.
okay, good.
I
And
still
you agree?
second. Yes,
You
okay,
say-
sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so the
Okay.
motion is
That's
amended.
easier, that's easier.
Yeah.
All doing very good checking each other for
Yep,
all
yep.
day.
Is there any further discussion on the motion as amended? If not, I'll ask the Assistant Secretary, or
Okay.
Interim Secretary.
I feel
to-
like
to-
it.
to make the-
Okay,
call
I'll
the
do
roll.
that. Okay, Member Dooley.
Yes.
Okay. Gawalapu.
Yes.
Gurumurti.
Yes.
Stirring.
Yes.
Chirukuri.
Yes.
Crawford votes yes. Unanimous.
Great. Item B, which was handed out and amended to the agenda tonight, is a list of library closures for 2024. The change that I note here is instead of August 16 on a Friday being staff in service day, it is proposed to be August 9 of August on a Friday.
I'll make that motion to approve the library closings for 2024 as amended.
I'll go second.
Been amended, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? No discussion. Would our interim secretary please
Yes, I will.
make
Yes,
the
I
call?
will. Gawalapu.
Yes.
Okay. And Guru Murti.
Yes.
Stirring.
Yes.
Chiracuri.
Yes.
Crawford votes yes. Dooley?
Yes.
Okay. Unanimous.
This does make the city calendar by getting this in, so
Perfect.
thank you so much, yes.
Good, good. I will just call to the attention of the trustees the communication that we received from Nancy Thompson in regard to the library parking lot, pages 103, 104. I don't think I have to read that, but just note that it's in our handout. There being no other business, to my knowledge, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
I second.
Second.
All right. Do we
Any
have a second?
discussion?
I'll second. Or, okay, Priya.
Yeah, Gurmukhi, beat you to it.
I'm excited to adjourn.
Exactly.
Without doing a roll, why don't we just do it all affirmative
Okay.
and hand? All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Unanimous.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
I will not be